In last lecture, we have learned about the absolute cost advantage theory of international trade, which is explained by the Adam Smith. According to this theory, an exchange of goods will take place only if each of the two countries can produce one commodity at an absolutely lower production cost than the other. In this lecture, we will discuss about the comparative cost advantage theory of international trade. This theory is propounded by David Ricardo in his book Principles of Political Economy and Taxation, published in 1870. This theory was later developed by J.S. Mill, Marshall, Townsend, and Haberler. According to the David Ricardo, it is not the absolute but the comparative cost differences that determine trade relations between the two countries. Production costs differ in countries because of geographical division of labor and specialization in production. Due to differences in climate, natural resources, geographical situation, and efficiency of labor, a country can produce one commodity at a lower cost than other. In this way, each country specializes in the production of the commodity in which its comparative cost of production is least. Therefore, when a country enters into trade with some other country, it will export those commodities in which its comparative production costs are less and will import those commodities in which its comparative production costs are high. Uh, the, this theory is stated by the following statement: other things being constant, a country will export those commodities in which its comparative cost advantage is the greatest and import those commodities in which its comparative disadvantage is least. This theory has taken some assumptions in which it will apply, and most of the assumptions of these theories are synonymous or equal to absolute cost advantage theory of Adam Smith. First is there are two countries A and B. Second is they produce the same two commodities X and Y. Third is the goods are homogeneous in both countries. There exists barter system in international trade. The cost of commodities were computed by the relative amounts of labor required in their respective production process. Next is labor is only one factor of production. Next, the supply of labor is unchanged. All units of labor as assumed to be homogeneous. Next assumption is labors are mobile within a country but immobile between the countries. Commodities are produced under the law of constant returns. Prices of two commodities are determined by labor cost. It means next is there is free trade between the two countries. Next, no transport costs are involved in carrying trade between the two countries. Next assumption is there is full employment of the factors of production in the countries. International market is perfect and the exchange ratio for the two commodities is the same. For this explanation of this theory, we take one example. According to Ricardo, trade is possible between two countries when one country has an absolute advantage in the production of both commodities. but also a comparative advantage in the production of one commodity than in the other. Here, uh, Ricardo has taken one example of wine and clothes. There are two countries, one is England and second is Portugal. Both the countries are producing wine and clothes. The above table represents that the production of 1 unit of wine in England requires 120 min for a year, while 1 unit of clothes requires 100 min for a year. On the other hand, the production of the 1 unit of wine in Portugal requires 80 and 90 min for a year respectively. It means cost of producing both commodities is lower in Portugal. As compared to England, Portugal has an absolute advantage in the production of both the goods. The cost of 1 unit of production wine was 80 man for a year, whereas it is 120 man for a year in England. Similarly, cost of 1 unit production of cloth in Portugal is 90 min for a year, while in England it has to use 100 min for a year of labor to produce the same amount of clothes. Moreover, Portugal has a comparative advantage over England in a production of wine relatively to clothes because the labor cost involved in producing 1 unit of wine is only 67% to England in Portugal. As well as labor cost involved in producing 1 unit of cloth in is 90% to England in Portugal. It means Portugal is comparatively more efficient in making wine than in clothes. Under the given comparative cost ratios of wine and cloth, it is found that Portugal has a comparative advantage over England in producing wine relative to clothes. Similarly, England has lesser disadvantage in producing cloth than in wine in comparison to Portugal. The England spent 33% more labor cost than Portugal in wine production and only 10% more in cloth production. According to the Ricardo, the comparative cost advantage is always and by definition accompanied by a comparative disadvantage of cost too. It means Portugal has a comparative cost advantage in wine and comparative disadvantage in cloth irrespective of absolute advantage in both commodities. Under these circumstances, it is advantageous for both countries to have trade relations and Portugal should export wine and import cloth, while England should export clothes and import wine at any exchange rate between 0.89 and 1.2 units of clothes against 1 unit of wine. Suppose international terms of trade is 1 unit of wine is equal to 1 unit of clothes. Then England will save cost of 20 min year labors on import of wine. Likewise, Portugal obtains 1 unit of clothes at a cost of 1 unit of wine. Then it will save 10 mean years labor through international trade by importing cotton. This can be illustrated diagrammatically. In the diagram, OX axis shows commodity clothes and OY axis shows commodity Y. Line PA represents Portugal's domestic exchange ratio between wine and clothes, and line EA represents England's domestic exchange ratio. TA represents the international terms of trade between the two countries, assuming to be 1 unit of wine is equal to 1 unit of clothes. Further, TP1 line is drawn parallel to PA line, which denotes Portugal's domestic exchange ratio. 1 unit of wine is equal to 0.89 unit of clothes. When Portugal specializes in wine and England in clothes, and if trade occurs between them at 1 unit of wine is equal to 1 unit of clothes, terms of trade as represented by TA line, then both countries will gain. England gets 0.17 units more of wine than before. Similarly, Portugal gets 0.11 units of clothes more than before. Therefore, when comparative cost advantage is found in the international trade, both the countries will get advantages from it. But this theory has criticized by many economists, in which first is 2 by 2 model is unrealistic. The Ricardian model is related to trade between two countries and two commodities. This is an unrealistic assumption, as international trade is between many countries in many commodities. Next is no free trade. Ricardian theory is based on the assumption of perfect and free world trade. But in reality, there is no free trade. Every country applies restrictions on the free movement of goods to and from other countries. Tariff quotas, subsidies are the important restrictions on the free trade. Next is neglects non-labor costs. This theory is based on the labor is the only one factor of production. The production cost includes not only labor cost but also non-labor cost also. Next is homogeneous labor. The labor cost theory is based on the assumption of homogeneous labor. This cannot be true because labors are heterogeneous. It is different in kind, grade, specialization, etc. No transport cost. Ricardian theory ignores transport cost in determining comparative advantage in trade. But transport cost plays an important role in determining the pattern of world trade. Next is full employment in the economy. The Ricardian theory assumes existence of full employment level in the economy. According to Keynes, underemployment exists in the economy rather than full employment level. This theory neglects technological development. The theory neglects the role of technological improvement in international trade. However, technological changes help in increasing the supply of goods for the domestic and international market. Further, improved technology can reduce the cost. World trade has gained much from innovations, research and development. This theory is considered as incomplete theory because it considers only the supply side of the international trade and completely neglects the demand side. It assumes demand as a given factor. Next is factor of production used in fixed production. In fact, labor is used in the variable proportions in the production of commodities. Next is constant costs. This theory assumes that an increase of output due to international specialization is subject to constant costs. However, there is found either increasing cost or diminishing cost in the reality. And next is factors immobile even internal. Ricardo assumes that the factors of production are perfectly mobile internally and lack complete mobility internationally. This is unrealistic. In fact, factors do not move freely from one industry to another or from one region to another within country also. Next is complete specialization is impossible. The theory has been criticized on the ground that complete division of labor and specialization is impossible in any country. Thank you very much.